Hey everybody, welcome again to Renitrition Reveals, where I'm sharing all the secrets of everything that I'm learning while working with my clients on helping them along their healing journeys to feel and perform their best. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Dr. Alexis Sams. I'm the owner of Renitrition Health and Wellness in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a functional medicine specialist and food clue expert. I'm going to talk today about immunity in the sense of I'm just going to give you some general things that I have learned that have just been so insightful to me personally, but it's definitely carried over and helped me unlock some huge obstacles or remove some obstacles, unlock just possibilities for healing for my clients. And I want to share them with you so that you are aware of these connections because they may be holding back your progress and your healing as well, for you or for somebody that you know, a close friend or family member. So I'm going to dive right into it. I've got about 5 things that I'm going to cover. Here we go. Thing number 1, like seriously guys, this has been just for me. Thing number 1 is that there's a connection, or I shouldn't say that there's a connection. Melatonin has a responsibility in your immune performance, which I did not know until, again, reading and researching, so that I grew to know this information. Why is it so mind-blowing for me, and why did I put this as number 1, or definitely making sure that I'm sharing it with you guys? How many people talk about melatonin? How many people take melatonin supplements to help them sleep? We all are genuinely aware of the connection between melatonin and helping us calm down. It's a neurotransmitter. It helps us to calm ourselves so that we can sleep better, which is true, 100%, but had no idea it had an influence on immune system performance, let alone, this is basically what it does. It creates a communication pathway between existing immune cells and your bone marrow, where immune cells are fundamentally made. Melatonin essentially communicates with your bone marrow substance, your bone marrow tissue, to spark or to start the process of immune cell production on a repetitive and on a cyclical basis. When immune cells in our body or other chemicals and hormones, are alerted to or notice that there are low level of immune cells in the body, melatonin is charged with the responsibility to communicate, connect with your bone marrow tissue to start the regeneration and start the production of more or new immune cells, so that you can have soldiers ready and waiting to defend your body against external threats, germs, toxins coming in from the external environment. Rather, I should say mostly just germs. So yeah, I don't want to get too deep into it because I could literally sit here forever and just talk about this topic. But the issue with the melatonin may be that of production. It may be that the body isn't producing enough for some reason, and therefore your body is kind of triaging in order of importance, in order of highest priority to keep you safe and alive. It's triaging how it uses melatonin. So in a lot of cases, what I'm finding with some of my clients is that their melatonin production is low. Therefore, they're still not getting the communication with bone marrow to help with immune performance, number 1, but then it's also so low that the body is using whatever that it's producing to try to get that communication going, which means there isn't a lot of melatonin available for that calming effect. So a lot of my clients who have immune or autoimmune issues or chronic disease, chronic symptoms, also have difficulty sleeping. And now it makes a lot more sense to me why. So that's thing number 1 that I didn't know about immune system performance. That has literally been a game changer for my clients' health. Thing number 2, again, another big mind-blowing moment, the role of estrogen in terms of immune performance. Estrogen, again, I could talk about it forever, but I'm going to talk about like two main general responsibilities of estrogen. Some immune cells basically have estrogen receptors, estrogen parking spaces, where estrogen is supposed to bind to the immune cell to basically help it do its job. Whether that job is production of another like end game immune cell that helps with defense, or other types of responsibilities. Estrogen also helps with regulating or production of regulating responses and regulating cells for immune performance, which kind of leads me into another one of the concepts that I wanted to talk about, which is kind of the turn on and turn off effect of your immune system. Your immune system has cells, chemicals, proteins, resources to mount an attack against germs, turn on performance, but then there are also cells, proteins, chemical substances that turn off that response. So after said germ has been destroyed, sent through our liver and lymphatic system, our excretory system to be eliminated, there are immune substances that kind of are like, all right, guys, party's over, nothing else to see here, go home. And that is supposed to help us calm the inflammatory response, calm the immune killing responses back to a kind of like resting state, if you will. However, if those substances are low in production, they aren't being transported effectively, there's a communication issue between brain, body, or other parts of the body, and that turn off, those regulatory substances aren't doing their best job, then we do get into a cycle of prolonged inflammatory responses. The people aren't going home, they're just staying in the streets partying, and that can come across as chronic inflammatory responses, chronic pain, chronic histamine reactions, things like that. Circling back to estrogen, one of the roles of estrogen is to keep those regulating substances in cells like in check, keep them in a regulated, happy state, a normalized state, performing their best all day, every day, 100% of the time. So when we have estrogen imbalances, yes, there can be at least two-sided or two different ways that your immune system can be affected. It can be affected in terms of germ-fighting cell production and performance, or regulation substance production or performance. And again, another game changing is recognizing that there is a turn on and turn off responsibility for your immune performance. And both are equally important in terms of managing conditions and diseases. Alrighty. The next thing, I know I keep saying like mind-blowing and game changer, but they really are, which is why I'm doing this and why I'm sharing this information with you. Many of you, again, if it's you, if it's a family member or a close friend or something, a lot of people are genuinely aware of mast cells, or they have heard the concept of mast cell activation syndrome, which is an overuse of your mast cells in response to an external threat, usually like an allergen, toxin, things like that. In a general sense, we tend to associate, rightfully so, we associate that with elevated like histamine symptoms, chronic allergies like flare-ups and things like that. What's interesting that has definitely kind of helped me manage that mast cell activation syndrome or manage an overproduction or an over or elevated histamine response is this little tip. Remember when I said our bone marrow makes our immune cells? It makes blood-based and it makes lymph-based immune cells. And within our blood-based immune cells, or even within our immune cells altogether, blood and lymph, we usually end up with, I think, like 10 or 11 different types of end product immune cells. So you may have heard B cells, T cells, plasma has immune properties in it. You may have heard of like neutrophils, eosinophils. You may have heard the word macrophages. So those are all different types of immune cells, both on the blood-based side and the immune-based side. Mast cells are one of those blood-based immune cell types. Here's the kicker. Out of all those end product immune cells, all of the end product immune cells go through a whole bunch of conversions, growth, maturation, separation. They go through stages, phases, all the words. They go through all these changes from the precursor blood or lymph immune cell that starts them all, and then the end range immune or blood or lymph immune cells. Lots of conversions, lots of changes, except mast cells. Mast cells, at least through what I have found in my research and reading, mast cells are pretty much the only immune cell that is pretty much directly converted from the blood-based immune precursor from bone marrow. It just goes directly and converts into a mast cell. What does that mean, and why is that a game changer? Because if immune cell production is down and out for whatever reason, if there's an issue with getting the other immune cells to work effectively or efficiently, if your body had to double down on one type of immune cell to make up for that loss in the presence of a germ so that you don't get any sicker than you need to, what cell do you think it's going to double down on? Probably the one that's easiest to make. The one cell that doesn't go through 80 billion trillion different conversions. It's not that many, but it is a number of them. But the one cell that doesn't go through all these conversions to be able to reach its end state so that it can be effective in germ fighting. So what does that mean for my clients? It means that when I have somebody who has that type of elevated histamine response or the diagnosis of MCAS, the mast cell activation syndrome, I'm looking at it more as a compensation, a compensatory reaction to maybe difficulty with production or some other aspect of performance with the other immune cells. And now taking that mentality and applying it to those clients, I'm getting better results and better turnaround in terms of helping them feel better and reducing their symptoms, which has been great. And then the last thing that I've kind of come to understand about immunity and immune performance is just, it is a concept, but it's a concept that helps me to understand immune performance a little bit better so I can just be more effective and efficient in helping clients. It's the difference between immune response and immune reaction. So immune response is the normal way that our body is supposed to respond to foreign germ invaders. It's when all of our, detox paths are nice and open, our liver's working effectively and efficiently, everybody's getting the email, everybody's reading the tweet. So when a germ comes into the body, immune cells go to town, they do their job, they kill the thing, everybody, praise God, hallelujah. The regulatory cells come in, okay, party's over, everybody go back home, everybody goes back home. We eliminate the germ, everything's, cool, calm, and collected, end of story. Versus a reaction, which is an unplanned, disorganized, erratic set of actions taken in the presence of a germ, that's going to look a lot more like aggressive. It's going to look a lot more problematic. It's probably going to come with a lot more symptoms. So just kind of having that awareness of the difference in symptom presentation between somebody who's having an immune response, something that's normalized, your slight increase in detox pathways, so a little bit increase in a sneeze or mucus production, because mucus is a way that our body gets germs out. A slightly elevated fever, because again, that's part of your normalized inflammatory response. So looking at those normal symptoms as part of a nicely planned out normalized, healthy immune response versus skin breakouts, an elevated histamine response, massive headaches, vomiting, pain, bloating and swelling, all of those things indicate compensatory measures going in. Yes, disorganization and not normalized responses, so that reactive state of an immune of immune performance. So not only do I now know that when I see symptoms of reaction that we have to get the germ and the invader causing those reactions killed and out of the picture, I now know that I probably need to circle back and do some improvements or taking a closer look at immune performance impairments or dysfunction, looking for other clues of why the immune system didn't have that more like normalized response that resolved in like 3 to 4 days, and everything was just, cool and copacetic. It just gives more insight and more information to be able to help things heal more effectively and efficiently, to help my clients feel better faster. So yeah, guys, some things that I really didn't know, or concepts that I really didn't fully know and understand about immunity, that now that I do know, have been significant game changers in terms of improving my clients' performance overall. I hope it's been helpful for you to hear my learning, my recent learning experiences. I hope it's been helpful and insightful for you. Again, you guys know how to reach out to me, continue to follow me, whether it's podcast, whether it's YouTube channel, whether it's Instagram, all of those at all of those are at Renutrition. But yeah, continue to follow me because I'm really passionate about sharing information, insights, concepts, advice to help you heal, to help you feel better, perform better. Yeah, look and feel better. Stay tuned, guys, for more updates. I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a good one.